Hello, I'm Father Joe Gembala, pastor of St. Malachy Catholic Church, and we're beginning this evening with our series on miracles. So let's begin in the Old Testament in the second book of Kings, chapter 5. There was a great army commander of Syria named Naaman. He was highly esteemed and respected throughout the country, and he had many victories, including victories over the Israelites. But as strong as he was, he contracted leprosy, and he was very afraid. There was a slave girl in his household, a servant of his wife, who was an Israelite who had been captured in the previous war against Israel. The little girl remarked, "There's a great prophet in my land. I believe that great prophet can cure the general." Upon hearing this, Naaman loaded up a caravan with 6,000 gold pieces, 10 silver talents, 10 festal garments, and went to seek this prophet of Israel. This prophet was Elisha. So Naaman and his caravan, all of his horses and his chariots, stopped in front of Elisha's little house and sent word about what he desired, to meet with the prophet and seek a cure to his leprosy. The prophet sent a message out from his house: "Go and wash 7 times in the Jordan and you will be clean." Well, Naaman received the message and was quite flustered. In fact, he was angry. He said, "I thought that this prophet would surely come out and stand before me and wave his hands and invoke his God and create this mighty miracle of curing me of this leprosy. Instead, he tells me to go wash 7 times in the river. Are not the rivers in Syria greater than the rivers here? I will not wash in this river." And he turned around angrily and was going to leave. But his servants came to him and entreated him and said, "Master, if the prophet had told you to do something extraordinary, something remarkable, you would have striven to do it, wouldn't you?" And he said, "Yes." "So do what he's asked. Go wash in the water. It might work." So Naaman went down, plunged into the river 7 times, and was cleansed of his leprosy. So why do I begin with this particular miracle? Well, it's because I think when most of us think about a miracle, we think like Naaman. We think it's going to be something big, something huge, something grand, something remarkable, involving lightning strikes or earthquakes or something that will terrify us or make us jump up and down. Miracles, wow, that's something rare. That's something that maybe we might not see in our lifetime. A miracle, wow, only to live to see a miracle. Well, I'm here to tell you that miracles happen all the time, and most of the time, we don't even know they're happening. Let me explain. What does Elijah could have told Naaman to go and fight an Asiatic lion? There were lions in Israel in that day. They still exist in India, of all places. And I suppose Naaman would have gotten his spear and tried to slay a lion. Or Elijah could have told Naaman, "Go kill a bear." There were Syrian brown bears in Israel in Elijah's day, even more fiercer and larger than the lions. And I suppose Naaman would have got his spear and tried to slay the bear. But it's not what Elijah asked him to do. He asked him to do something very simple. Elijah didn't want to do that something simple. He was expecting to do something almost impossible. But Elijah had it right. Miracles begin with small things. And so washing in the water is a small thing. Elijah was cleansed. So what does that mean for us today? We don't have lions roaming around outside. The ones we do down in Detroit are kind of tame, if you know what I mean. And we don't have bears except those at the zoo. However, we do have opportunities to do little things. Let me give you an example. At our parish, we periodically have food collections. And most people don't bring any food, but some people do. They make it a point when they're shopping to take the time out to buy a couple of extra jars of peanut butter, a few extra boxes of rice, a few extra cans of beans, and they'll put it in the bag and they'll donate it and not think too much of it. But I can tell you that at the Food Depot in Holy Trinity in Detroit, when people come and look for that food and are there and glad to have it and realize it's the only meal they're going to have that for them, that's a miracle. It's a miracle for them. Or when there's a clothing drive and we think, well, I'll get rid of some of these old clothes. This isn't a big deal. I'll go take them down. I'll put them in the Vincent de Paul box. We may not think of it as much. We may think of it as a small thing. But the person receiving the clothes, that might be the only clothes they'll have to wear for the next 6 months. To them, it's a miracle. Or maybe you know someone who's been sick for a long time, and you decide to pick up the phone and give them a call and ask them how they're doing. You may think this is a small thing, and you may never use the word miracle for that at all. But I can assure you, sometimes people need a call. They need to know that someone loves them, that someone cares about them, and will take the time out to make a call to them. So I'm going to begin this series in a small way, but an important way. That every time you exercise your faith in charity and compassion for others, you may not think of any of those things as a miracle, but the people receiving those acts of compassion and charity, it might be a big deal indeed.